Hi, I'm Nick and this is the TBT channel. Welcome to today's video. I'm in the garden. It's a beautiful, hot, sunny day. I've got my camera in shade this time because the last video I made, it was in the sunshine and it started to go a bit blocky in patches. So I think that was the temperature. So I've got it in some shade. And that time there was just to waste a few seconds so that I can get past the first 8 seconds before telling you what today's video is about. To defeat the bots, if we don't show or mention it in the first 8 seconds, they don't try and stop me from showing you the video altogether. You will remember, you may remember, you ought to remember, last year, I think it was last year, where does the time go? I looked at this Cometa Fusion Star something. I don't know, it had a lot of names, an awful lot of names. Air rifle, Fusion. I've got Fusion written on here as well and a picture of a star, so it could be a Fusion star. This air rifle is made in Spain. It has lots of features on it which should make it a viable alternative to a Weihrauch, and that's what we looked at. I'm constantly looking for alternatives to a Weihrauch spring rifle. I get asked all the time, literally all the time. Many of you watching this will have emailed me at some point and said, look, I've seen one of these, is it a good gun? I want to be able to find a gun so that when people say, I'm after an air rifle, my budget is this much, I can't afford a Weihrauch, what should I get? I'm looking for the holy grail, the alternative to a Weihrauch, a cheaper alternative. I know air arms exist, I'm aware of that, but they are very much a more expensive alternative to a Weihrauch, so not needed in this context. Now, we've had Spanish things before, the Gamos, which are quite terrible, but at least they're usually quite cheap. We have the BSAs, which again are quite terrible, but they don't have the advantage of being cheap. Now, there's some argument at the moment as to whether they're actually BSAs Spanish or British at the moment. I don't know. I'm hearing good things about the new Lightning CLX, which is intriguing because I would really love one of them. I love a Lightning. If you've watched my other videos, you know I love a Lightning. It's just, they live up to their name. They never strike the same place twice. If they can overcome that, then that could be a good gun, but I haven't got one yet. So what I've got here is my Cometa Fusion. Now, this is a very nice looking air rifle. It really, really is. We've got a sleeved barrel, bull barrel at the front with a screwed on air stripper. We've got an adjustable cheek piece there. It has the look of the HW98 about it, but for much, much less money. You will have seen, will see, if you haven't seen it yet, go back and find it. I'll probably put a link in the description below. See that I took it apart in an attempt to make it shoot better. And I've been asked many times over the last 6 months what the state of play is with this. But at least half a dozen of you probably watching this will know where we got to in this, because I have been making kits for this and I have been sending them out to people that I know and trust for testing. And the results are in. And we are not going to be making a kit for this rifle, which is a shame. But I will explain why. That's what this video is about. It is an explanation for all you people who think Cometa is great. I'm not saying it isn't, but why I am not going to be making a kit for it. Now, the way our kits work, this is basically what we would put inside of here, okay? The top hat at the front, a guide at the back, and a flange to keep that central, and everything works off there. When the spring compresses, it's held in place by the guides, and that is good and that is groovy. But you will see through the centre of there, we have a 10mm bore. All Weihrauch spring rifles and the Air Arms spring rifles have a latch rod, a 10mm bar running through the centre of the piston that latches onto the trigger. And that means I make my kits don't fit the piston, although they fit inside the piston. These fit the latch rod. They work off the latch rod. When you compress the spring, the top hat and the guide are kept in the same place relative to each other by the latch rod. It allows it to twist, it allows it to move, but it keeps everything centralized. And what that does is stop the spring from bouncing off the inside of the piston. When you get a gun that goes boing, that's the front of the spring doing that inside of the piston. If you don't have those pieces inside of there, or in this case, if you don't have the central latch rod, when you try and compress a spring, it wants to go S-shaped. It doesn't want to go straight. And because we don't have the latch rod to hold everything central, it's still bending inside of the gun. And I will now demonstrate. It's been doing this for months. I've been shooting this for months, but you watch, it won't do it now. But have a listen to this. Can you hear that? That is the spring bending out of shape and rubbing on the inside of the piston. And all 6 of the people that I sent out kits to had the same thing, and it is unavoidable. The piston inside of this has an extended part on the top of it, which in itself is a challenge to overcome, but that's what clips onto the trigger sear at the top here through that handy little grit hole to latch it, so the spring is bending. Now, don't get me wrong, the firing cycle on this is now nice. And the other people who fitted one agreed it shot nicely, but it doesn't feel like a quality item, and it won't do with that design of piston. And it is the same, sad to say, for the older Webleys. Is it the Webleys with the and the BSA Lightnings as well, I believe, where anything that latches onto the piston itself rather than onto a central rod, the spring will bend as you put it in there, which means you need extra lubrication, but it just doesn't feel nice. The price for that kit would still be the same price as it is for any other gun, because there's still the same amount of components in it, work well into developing it, things like that. And it was very much the same with the Gamos. The reason we stopped doing the kits for the Gamos, you buy a £100 gun, you spend £50 on a tuning kit for it, you've then spent £150 on that gun, and it's still a Gamo. And it will still feel wrong when you cock it. And because it's because of that, everything that we do, we send out, all of you can fit yourselves. It is simple. There may be things you have to do along the way, checking, altering small pieces like that, but by and large it's a case of take the gun apart, clean it, put it back together with lubricant in the right places, and it will work. This shoots lovely with the kit in, but it feels shonky when you're cocking it, and for that reason I'm there are other tuners. Of course there are other tuners, and we talk to each other. That's what a lot of people don't realise. They seem to think there's this cat fight amongst us. There really isn't. There really isn't. Other tuners have found the same thing. Some have decided to sell the kits anyway, some have decided not to. I'm in the camp of I decide not to. If you call me up and say, well look, I don't care, I want one, well I'll tell you which parts you need and which kit will fit it. That's not an issue, but I'm not going to be listing it on the site, which is a shame. And I'll tell you why that's a shame. This is a bloody good rifle. And it is, and this is the part where up till now, I know the Cometa fans have been bashing their keyboards like crazy, telling me how wrong I am. The gun's a good gun. Okay, I don't get the grit hole in the top there. The trigger's not quite as good as a record unit. I like the adjustable cheek piece, but that is actually, I mean, we're not talking, oh, it's a straight edge. That's sharp. That's actually sharp against your cheek. But the accuracy on this one, I've heard mixed things about the accuracy with Cometas. I can only speak for this one, what I have in front of me here on the desk right now, and this was bloody good. I was very impressed with it. I like the way it shoots, I like the way it handles, the weight's good. It's not as heavy as a 98, it's got the 98 look to it, but it hasn't got the 98 weight. It's not, I mean, my shoulders recovering, not recovered, but I can hold this. The build quality isn't up to Weihrauch standards, but the price isn't a Weihrauch price. So, you know, as a gun, it is worth the money they're asking for it. Can it be improved? Yes, it can. Can it be made as good as a Weihrauch? No, it can't. Can it come close to being the same cocking cycle as a Weihrauch? No, it can't. The inherent problems are insurmountable without changing the piston. By the time you've done that, you spent more money than you would have done on a Weihrauch in the first place, and it's just not worth it. So it's a bit of a downer, this video, but I did want to let you know, because so many people have been saying, look, you were doing this thing, what happened? We tested, I've spoken to people, and the people I've spoken to are probably watching this. They know we've been into quite a lot of detail looking at ways we could change things, but it was, for a home fit kit, pretty much insurmountable. So if you want to buy a Cometa air rifle, buy one. That is my recommendation. Buy one. It's the kit, the accuracy isn't affected by the way it cocks. It simply isn't. The accuracy is to do with the barrel quality and the pellet quality. You get the right pellet for your barrel, it will be accurate. The let off is nice enough. The firing cycle is nice enough. It is purely the cocking thing that I don't want the people phoning me up and complaining every time they fit one. It's making a weird honking noise, and that is it. But the gun itself, in answer, is it a viable alternative to the Weihrauch? No, but it is very much a step up from the BSAs that I know. Firmly above that, obviously above Gammo. So if we're looking at divisions, and if we're going to be brutal here, Weihrauch fanboy, air arms are the best. They don't suit me. The Pro Sport I can't cock, I find it too bloody difficult to cock. And the TX200, you need 3 arms to cock and load it, because everything's on the wrong side and you've got buttons everywhere. But they're probably the pinnacle of the spring rifles. Then you have your Weihrauchs, and that's pretty much it. You know, you've got your air arms right up there in price. Then you've got a huge great league here of Weihrauchs from high price to low price, and every single one of them is good. Then you've got all the rest below. So we're not in that league, but this is knocking on the door. This is kind of top of the second division, looking at promotion. And they're only going to get promotion if they go for that German midfielder and get a latch rod inside of this piston. Like, subscribe, hit notifications. I'm sorry if this was a depressing sounding one, but I did want to get this one done just so that we can put it to bed and people know where we finally ended up with it. Thank you for watching, and goodbye.